You want to go into the draft?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing we want to go 1 to 10.
You want to go 1 to 10 or 10 to 1?
I think 1 to 10.
1 to
Okay.
10.
I think that's probably the best.
And I guess, can we do this? Can we base this strictly on if it was just to go 1 to 10 and not, because the trades could really just mess this whole thing up. So I guess we'll just go off of.
Well, there was one thing I wanted to bring up before we start on that.
Sure.
There was another Laker rumor there that they were going to send their number 2 to Sacramento for the 5 and the 10. Take Jason Tatum with the number 2, or the number 5, and Zach Collins with the number 10. Now that's
interesting.
Well, now with Randall gone, you're not.
I don't
Not
think
now,
though. They've got their rim
with
protector.
Randall, but I mean, with Russell gone, I don't see that happening.
Exactly. They don't have a point guard.
That happened before this.
They don't have a point guard at this point. But I can see that. I know that they were looking for more picks. And again, it makes you wonder because the Lakers are a very young team.
Right.
Very young. And to compete, you would think that they would need to get somebody, a veteran
leadership,
veteran scorer, some leadership. You're not going to get that by stockpiling picks. Those picks are currency for getting somebody else. So it seems like that's what they're trying to do. But this trade changes that thinking. Though I still think that they are looking for picks, but not at. I don't think. Again, the value of that pick, it's one of the things the Celtics decided. That their pick was, look, here's who we want to get. We can get that guy with the third pick.
Sure.
We know we can get that guy with the third pick. So they traded down and got value for that pick. Yeah. I think the Lakers understand that getting a point guard now, needing a point guard increases the value of that pick for them. And so they can't just be fly by night. However, this is a point guard rich draft.
It is.
I'm projecting 5 point guards in the top 10. So the Lakers may say Lonzo Ball at number 2 doesn't have this, that I'd have to spend too much on that. Why not trade it, take a point guard later, one of the other 5 point guards down the road later in the draft, and also get something else for it? They might still do that. But they're still, I think, going to pick a point guard. Do
you think there's going to be the Lakers are going to do some more trading before the draft? Now that they have the 3
Well, I mean,
picks?
The only guy I think that they had out there that was a rumor mill was Randall, but I don't know if that's the case anymore. I thought I'd heard possibly a Randall and one of their late picks to somebody to move up. But after I started reviewing more or less this draft, these teams need a top 10 pick. I just don't see. Maybe Dallas. Dallas might be the only one because it's Cuban and he's kind of a loose cannon.
Right.
I could see him kind of trading away that pick to maybe get somebody that's maybe more seasoned instead of having to deal with a rookie. But other than that, the Suns need this pick. The Kings need these picks. The Magic need these picks.
Yeah.
I mean, the Knicks need the pick.
What a disaster.
So I just don't see really, like, you're going to have to offer them something really strong to move. To be honest with you. When I looked at the top 10, and maybe these guys have, and I didn't look all the way through 10, but I mean secondary picks in the 15 to 25 that they might be able to move in a trade. But I think these top 10 picks are, Sacramento's looking really good to get a couple guys, so,
which is why they might consider trading, but they got so many holes. It doesn't, unless they can get somebody who can fill that hole by trading one of those picks, they might just as well. So pick somebody to stay in there.
So before we go on into the draft here, there's one thing I'd like to discuss, and obviously it's Fultz is going to go number 1, right?
I think we all agree.
I'll agree on that.
Okay. So what I'm a little mind boggled, and he's a freshman, right? He was a freshman at Washington, correct?
Yeah.
How does a kid from Maryland go to Washington, win 9 games, and all of a sudden become the number 1 pick in the NBA draft? I'm a little mind boggled by that. I just don't understand. If this kid is that good and he's out of Maryland, how is he not going to one of those strong teams, the Duke, the North Carolina,
Should've stayed
the
in the
Marylands,
ACC, yeah.
you know, right in the ACC somewhere, to even Georgetown, to somewhere around his. You know, he goes all the way across the country into the Pacific Northwest and plays for a team that's mediocre not very good in the Pac-12, and he only wins 9 games, and that's your leader of your team. So there must be something in this that I mean, I would understand. I would think that he lacks a little leadership. I don't know. And you're asking him to go be your superstar point guard. I don't know. I was a little thrown back by that, and I don't know what you guys thought about that.
Well, maybe he thought, staying in the ACC, he might have got lost in the shuffle there. I mean, that's pretty good basketball. He can go out to Washington, like you say, a bad team, but at least, it's almost like it's more about me than the team. I mean, he did the best he could do. I mean, he got the numbers, he jacked up his stats. He might not have been just a 10 points a game guy in the ACC, and drafted 13th or something.
But being that I'm I don't know. I'd rather maybe pick a guy that's ran a really good program,
Right.
as a point guard at Duke or a point guard at North Carolina or something like Kansas,
Right.
and he ran a great team. I don't care if it's for 1 year, but he learns how to win, and he knows how to deal with really high end pressure situations. He knows how to deal with going far in the tournament. I think I'd get more out of that. But there must be something about this kid that's
Yeah, because
phenomenal.
every mock draft you look at almost has.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Every
number
one you
one.
look at, he was one.
He is an absolute talent. I think he's a can't miss. I think for the Celtics, they just said, look, we've got Isaiah Thomas, and we can. It's not the same value. If we do want to get another point guard, we can get that elsewhere. There are other players in the draft. Markelle Fultz is a real deal. I watched him play. He is a better player than Lonzo Ball. He may not be this glamorous pick, and I don't know the reason why he came. I don't know the reason why he came, but he is every bit the consensus number one. He was injured much of this year. And I don't think there's any red flags. I mean, there's certainly not Josh Jackson type of red flags on this kid.
Right? No,
This is how the draft goes.
But how does Washington get this kid if he's the real deal?
How does any pack? How did USC get any of their guys? How did they get
I don't know. I just think if he's the real deal, I mean, the Dukes are going after
Maybe
him.
maybe they were.
Of course they were. But he was going to be able to play in the every minute that he wanted to. He was hurt this year as well. We haven't seen the best. I'm not disregarding his talent at all. I was just a little shocked
that
he's in the heart of where a lot of big time basketball is, and he goes all the way to the Pacific Northwest to play basketball.
You can ask the same thing about why anybody would choose to play at Gonzaga.
Right. That's a good point.
And again, most of those guys, Gonzaga really hasn't had a guy who's come out and been a consensus overall number one. Adam Morrison was a bust.
Mm-hmm.
There are guys, Nigel Williams, coming out is probably one of the best players in Gonzaga history. And is he even a first rounder?
Yeah.
Likely not. I don't know. It just depends. But the Pac-12 is good, high flying conference, and Fultz is a real deal.